15 love.
217 from the get-go.
all.
Good sign for Taylor Fritz that he's pumping the serve that big early on, considering that the reason his season ended was an abdominal injury at the Paris indoor tournament early November. If your abdominals are not full strength, you're not going to be able to reach back for that kind of power.
It did seem that injury was just one of those things that occurred at that time, and he had the scan and just decided that it wasn't something that he could continue with. But the rest of the off-season's been pretty strong for him, so it doesn't appear to be any lingering issues from that.
Game, Team USA.
So strong opening service game.
First game.
What's the key for Norrie here, Jim?
The key for Norrie is going to be to keep the ball out of the strike zone of Taylor Fritz's forehand. Once they're in the rallies, that's going to be the key. Another key for him is going to be to serve at the same level that he did against Alex de Minaur for 3 sets on Friday night. He was super effective with it, spotting up the ball in the corners, getting a lot of nice precision with it. I mean, Fitzy, I don't know if I've seen Norrie, frankly, serve better than he did.
Incredibly high percentage, wasn't it? And he's got that added left-handed advantage. I always thought they should be banned, left-handers. they produce a different angle. It's awkward to get used to. You don't play them as often as you play a right-hander, and I think that's a small advantage. But a high percentage is necessary. You know, Fritz is a wonderful player, but de Minaur is one heck of a returner, and he kept him at bay with his serve.
How much scar tissue do you carry forward when you have a poor ending to a season? So for Norrie, just he lost 9 of his last 11 matches. Mentally, do you carry that forward, or is it easy to wash away?
I think there's something about the new season factor that you can convince yourself that things are new and that you're fresh. And I think there was a lack of freshness for Norrie last year. I think he realizes he overscheduled himself, did a lot of extra tournaments and travel. He's been good for a long time now. He's been a top 20 player for the last 3 seasons as Cam Norrie.
15-0.
But I think he recognizes he needed to hit that refresh button. And then you come back and you tell yourself, I'm different. And he certainly did look different against Alex. That was a high-quality match on Friday night. And he came out on top in a nail-biter. There were moments in that match you could see the doubts creep in, but he fought through, and that's what's really critical for these athletes, to put that stuff behind them.
Well, the second set and the start of the third set, it looked like that the Australian was going to run away with it. Even in the tiebreak, at the start of it, you felt that de Minaur was the favourite.
Gee, David, that forehand, you know, when you're sitting courtside, you see how fast his racket head speed is, Fritz. It's a big shot, as Jim mentioned, and that shocked Cameron a little bit there.
30 all.
Ask about what are the keys for Norrie. Well, recognizing Taylor Fritz is one of the great ball strikers from an offensive standpoint in men's tennis. He can absolutely blast the ball off the ground. What he is not is one of the best defenders in men's tennis. Offense leading the way for Fritz there. He gets an early break point chance.
Use. Net second service.
Cam served so well against de Minaur. When he beat Fritz here last year, he had a very similar service profile, made over 70% first serves in play. So far tonight, he's struggling to make first serves today, I should say.
Advantage, Team USA.
The ball's getting from A to B a lot faster from Fritz's end of the court. There's very little time here for, unless Cameron gets on the front foot and makes Fritz defend, he's going to be under the pump, because the speed of which the ball getting from Fritz's end of the court to the other end is very quick. Not much reaction time.
Hammered. And the break comes early. And Team USA out to a 2-love lead. Impressive start from Taylor Fritz.
Team USA lead 2 games to love.
Well, that's pure intimidation, isn't it? What a forehand that is.
There's the value of the first serve. You only make 25% of them, and you're not a giant kick server. You're going to pay a price, and he certainly did. That was a wallop of a forehand.
He's got those long arms, hasn't he, of a modern player, with big levers, and he can generate a lot of racket head speed with that. That means ball speed. It's like you play a bit of golf, don't you, Jimmy? I mean, you have club head speed in golf. You hit the ball a bit further. You have racket head speed in tennis. You hit the ball harder.
Love.
Taylor Fritz has two coaches. Mike Russell, you'll see in the front row. When we go to the team zones here, the other coach, Paul Annacone, you may remember he was a fine player in his own right. Coach Pete Sampras and Roger Federer, Tim Henman. They did a lot of work with Taylor in the last 4 or 5 years to get him to understand just how good his forehand is, and to make sure that the opponents knew that if they left anything short in the court, he was absolutely going to hammer it. They've given him a lot of clarity on how to play. And now everyone who walks onto the court against Taylor Fritz knows if you leave something up in the strike zone on the forehand, the point's probably over. He might miss it, but you're probably not getting your racket on if it's a sitter. That kind of clarity is so important. It's led to so much success for Taylor Fritz.
So impressive movement from Taylor Fritz. 6'5", lot of him. He used the long legs to advantage, and he's open in the best possible fashion here. 3-love.
Team USA lead 3 games to love.
You talked about the defense, Jim. Wasn't bad on that occasion. Stretched to either side of the court.
Yeah, able to get a good hit on that one, forcing the volley to come up, and doesn't make clean contact with this forehand, but the fear factor had Norrie covering cross court, and he couldn't catch up to this shank forehand winner. The faux apology after he hits the winner. Not going to give the point back, but didn't mean to do that necessarily.
Where's your dues?
So Team USA having lost the opening encounter here. Katie Bolter beating Jessica Pegula. This wasn't the start that Cam Norrie had in his mind when he went to bed last night, that's for sure.
Not at all.
Time.
Not at all. Looking for his first winner of the match. He's made 3 unforced errors, and Fritz has been sharp. Making a good amount of first serves. The American so far, Norrie now needs to get a little momentum. But remember, Katie Bolter didn't start off great either. She got the win for Team GB.
Love 15.
If you want to avoid Fritz hurting you with the forehand, you actually have to attack him into his forehand corner to open up his backhand corner when you can damage him. Overplays that one.
Love 30.
And that becomes the thing when you look up at the scoreline this early in the match. You feel like you've got to do a little more perhaps than you do need to. And that's the result.
That's a volley to bring a tear to John Fitzgerald's eye.
He actually stood up and was applauding.
Yeah, no, much appreciated. He looks just a bit overpowered at the moment, though. You know, when Fritz is in this form, you know, he started straight out of the blocks, and he's just overpowering him a little bit. Yeah, and important that he's a bit more aggressive, I think, to try and get his teeth into the match. He may well get Fritz to come down off this platform too at some stage, but he's hitting the ball so well and so aggressively. I think if Norrie doesn't get a bit more aggressive himself, he'll be a bit of a sitting duck in the rest of this first set. Needs to go after it. But easier said than done. I mean, there's so much natural power from Taylor Fritz. It's interesting to watch up close.
The service.
So Norrie gets on the board, dug himself out of a bit of a hole there. Team USA 3-1.
Team USA lead 3-1.
Started the match off with 218K, and then hits that nice little soft slider, just a shade over 160K for the ace, 5th already.
What's he lost on serve so far? 1 point, I think. First one was to Love, second 40-15, and it's been an impressive serving display. As you said, if there's any issues from the residual injury, they've not in his mind or in his stomach.
It's right about where the coach would place the target. If you're hitting baskets or buckets of serves, that short angle there is just so difficult to reach. Perfectly placed.
Here
we go.
So again, impressive on serve. Taylor Fritz, been a fast start for the American. They lead 4-1.
Yeah, he hit some pretty good serves there from 130 down. Yep.
Your first time to WA in Perth, Jim. The beaches here are magnificent. They do have the occasional thing with a big fin, but other than that, Cottesloe, beautiful Indian tea house there. Saw Team Poland out having a surf earlier in the week, Scarborough, and then further north, Broome, one of the favourite holiday destinations. Remote and beautiful. And of course, Rottnest Island, which is a signature part of the world here. Taylor Fritz had a very good selfie with Quokka.
Good spots, too.
I've been lobbying for you to have a schedule that allows you to get out and about rather than just working all day.
Any luck with that?
No.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, first game he was. Now,
sorry, saving me a sunburn anyway.
I'll see this game. Next one.
Well, relaxed looking Taylor Fritz, as you would expect, as he glances to the scoreboard and sees a 4-1 lead early in this first set. It's been an impressive opening 20 minutes for the American. First match of the new season.
Yeah, couldn't have had a better start. Serving great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even if I miss my spot there, it's still like I'm normally in a pretty good place.
Yeah, exactly.
As opposed to the first game, I served 15 love. I
Time.
hit a T serve, spot not great, and it was back here.
Yeah, on the baseline. Yeah, exactly.
Jim, I find it interesting that Michael Russell's there with Taylor. He was a very good player in his own right. Very different in style than his charge now, though, isn't he? He was a consistent backcourt player who tough, competed well. He's coaching someone with enormous power. It's very different to his style.
It's been a great fit. They've done a lot of good work together. I think it's actually a good idea, Fitz, in general, and David, to have someone like a Mike Russell who was successful as a professional tennis player without weapons. And what that means is he had to use his mind and he had to use strategy. You add that to someone with big weapons.
Yeah.
I think that's a nice combination.
Good combination.
Yeah.
Well, there has to be a bit of yin and yang, doesn't there, in the coach-player relationship? Emotionally, strategically, technically. Well, that's a confidence booster for Cameron Norrie.
Team Great Britain.
Calls to love.
He started to make some first serves after that struggle in the opening game where he made 25% and had his serve taken away from him. Now he started to pick up the pace, made a lot more first serves in his last two service games, and this may be his best chance to break because this is the last game that the original tennis balls that they warmed up with will play, which means they'll be at their slowest, the fluffiest. New balls coming after this game. Taylor Fritz indicating to Mike Russell on the change of ends that he's loving the wide serve and the deuce. Let's see if he keeps going with it. Oh, he goes the other way. Beautifully.
Dirty love.
Yeah, that's what you're talking about, Jim, isn't it? You go to the forehand to try and open up the backhand. And you can't just play back across court to Taylor Fritz's backhand all day because he'll eventually back away and rip a forehand at you. So, way to open the court up.
Well, that was clever from Fritz. Norrie was deep, but not super deep. But element of surprise.
The disguise wasn't great from Fritz. He changed his grip to the volley grip, which he uses for the drop shot very early. But because he has so much artillery normally coming off that forehand, Norrie was really, really deep in the court and couldn't quite get up to it.
So this is as close as he's been, Cam Norrie.
40,
Getting
30.
a look at a service break opportunity.
Game, Team USA. New balls, please.
So Taylor Fritz in command here in this opening set. Team USA 5-2.
Really good.
Wolf, you put electrolytes in the water?
Balls in, please. Balls in.
Pretty relaxed conversation in the team zone for Team USA. Just joining us, the counter got off to a fast start for Team Great Britain. A long match, but Katie Bolter over Jessica Pegula. Bolter was down a set, 3-love. Fought back 6-4, 6-4 in the last 2 sets to take that opening encounter.
He's also looking for his backhand line a little more than normal.
Yeah.
I think it's
A lot of eating going on. Were you a gel man, Jim? Did you? They
used to have, like, just go back across.
might not have been invented.
Yep.
Talking about the amount of food that they consume, and if you're a long distance runner, you go through the gels and they're terrible tasting things. No wonder you drink a lot when you. Some it's the bananas. Pickle juice used to be a thing for a brief period of time.
It still is. Pickle juice still very viable. Daniel Medvedev needed it many times, including last year.
Points he wasn't leaning as much.
Fitzy's on the pickle juice down there, courtside.
I thought you were talking about hair gel.
He might be pickled. different deal.
Hair gel would not be needed for some of us, David.
That's a slight that I'm going to remember. I'll get back at you. New balls, serving to stay in this opening set.
Love.
New balls are flying, and Fritz unable to control a couple of hittable returns.
Jim, how heavy is Taylor Fritz's racket? I mean, his racket head speed is quite extraordinary.
I don't know the answer to that. It's a good question.
You'd think a lighter racket would maybe help him produce a bit more racket head speed?
Whatever he's got, he's getting plenty of it.
It's interesting when you watch his service action because it starts quite slowly, but then he snaps vigorously. So he's obviously able to generate the speed. So Norrie will force Fritz to serve it out in this opening set. Been more comfortable on serve, Cameron Norrie, the last two service games, and that'll help him if he does lose this service game to Fritz and give him something to go with in the second set. Much more competitive in the back end. Scoreline now semi-respectable. Didn't look like it was going to be like that for much of this opening.
Norrie was looking for the wide serve, guessed right, hit a quality return.
Love 15.
And gets his nose in front here at 3-5. That's how well Fritz is serving right now. Norrie's having to guess. Let's keep eyes on him, see if he moves early. Yep, cover in the middle. Fritz missed his target on that serve badly, and Norrie was able to get it back, but Norrie was looking for the big slider tee.
15-0.
That's going to do one of two things. It's either going to allow Fritz to hit a lot of aces, or it's going to bring Norrie into this game. But I think guessing, for me, David, is the right idea right now, given how well Taylor's serving and how big he's serving.
Well, some strong hitting in that exchange. And I think for the first time on Fritz's serve, Norrie's leading the count.
30.
Up to 40-30 previous service game. The rest has been a one-way traffic. So a little more pressure here. Do you guess again?
I think so. I think you need to. And you hope you get it right. It's a coin flip.
At 30-0. (40-30).
With the new balls flying, just a couple more unforced errors coming off of the racket of Fritz. That one sails long. And Norrie still in this opening set. But Fritz has got to be pleased with his level overall so far.
Well, lovely movement from Cam Norrie with a combination of the anticipation.
Team Great Britain.
He moved well, opening down the line. Break point. After the one-way traffic early, there's a battle on now.
Great job. Come on, let's go.
Serve clock at 3. Fritz is not going to make it. Oh, and Norrie was waiting for the warning, which never came and should have. Unforced error by the chair umpire there.
And on the biggest point of the match so far, Fritz took a little bit of extra time as he went to the towel towards his team zone, and Jimmy was spot on. The clock was ticking, we could all see it, and no mention.
Norrie had the final word. Another flaming forehand down the line. Gives him a second break point in this game.
Please.
Gets the break. Back in it. Team Great Britain. Cam Norrie still trailing on the count. Scores 5-4.
Team USA. 5 games to 4.
Well, the ebb and flow of the battle is something that we love, and Cam Norrie's just slowly edged his way back into this opening set after trailing 1-4. Survived the barrage of serves. His own service game's improved, and now he's got a chance to square it up.
I don't think he's played his best tennis yet either, David. And that's a good sign from his point of view. He started a little slowly, and Taylor really didn't make much or do anything wrong the first sort of 5 or 6 games. But yeah, now we've got a ball game, because you'd expect Cameron Norrie to probably maintain this level from now on.
Yeah.
That's the point. It feels tough to go line right now.
Yeah.
Just a little more tension in the Team USA zone.
Yeah.
Comfortably skiing along downhill, and all of a sudden flattened out at the bottom of the mountain, and Cam Norrie's worked his way back into this well. Tries to hold here to square things up on the scoreboard, but his serve has been better.
He wants to take it like crush line forehand. It's kind of like what you do as well.
He went everything cross and every ball
off the line. No, I know. Here we go. Come on, right here. Let's go. Come on.
Taylor Fritz, unlike a lot of players, when he has a chance to have a conversation with his team, he's usually the one talking. Most of the time, it's the coaches giving information to the players, but Fritz likes to have a running dialogue with Mike Russell and kind of voice his thoughts, and he's spot on. Norrie's down the line for him was a big difference maker and led to that break back. And Fitzy, what does that forehand down the line do psychologically to Taylor Fritz from a court position standpoint going forward?
Yeah, well, I think you probably naturally think that the left hand is going to hook his forehand across court to your backhand if you're Taylor Fritz. But yeah, it opens the court up, doesn't it? It has the same effect as going to the forehand. and making the backhand a little more vulnerable. It's not as good a shot. So, but you can hit cold winners there too, I think, because you're not, as a right-hander, you're not expecting that shot as much. So psychologically, yeah, I think it gets in your head a bit.
That's going to mean less forehands for Fritz overall, actually, because he likes to cheat on his backhand corner to the forehand side. He won't be able to do that as freely now. Even just a couple shots like that will have that effect of forcing Fritz to defend the down-the-line forehand going forward.
And earlier, of course, those were going in, and now they're not. And this has been a comfortable service game to date for Norrie to even up the scoreline.
Game team Great Britain.
So after 42 minutes, we're back on an even keel, 5 apiece, and the job's not done, but it's been an impressive last 10 or 15 minutes for Cameron Norrie.
5 games all. And 15 love. Love. Love.
A good service game important here for Fritz, just to reinsert his presence a little bit. Been snatched away by Norrie.
And you can't help feel like that was the story of the women's match that preceded this one, when Jessie Pegula led a set in 3 love against Katie Bolter. Looked like she was going to put the U.S. up 1-0. That didn't happen.
So an impressive service game. Holds to love. Team USA 6-5 this opening set.
Game to 5.
Last 2 service games have been 1 to love, and deep into this first set.
Stay relaxed. No big deal. Stay relaxed.
I feel like he returns every single one.
Just stay relaxed. Hit your spot. It's more about hitting the spots. Just don't force it.
I literally wasn't.
Yeah, that's fine. Great serving game.
I mean, when I served the set, I made over 50% for sure.
Yeah.
Spots weren't bad.
Yeah.
Spots also don't matter as much as fucking guessing.
I mean, it's not. He wasn't. That game he leaned obviously heavy on the.
That game he guessed that hard, but
Except for on the tee that you got him on the out wide, leaned a little bit, but you hit a good spot. The ace.
what, 30 low?
You hit a great
I
spot.
didn't think he leaned there actually.
Leaned a little
I
too.
thought I just hit the spot.
Yeah. But in general, no matter. That was the first game really he served wide on the deuce.
Which one?
Just now that he served at 4-5.
Him,
Yeah. Mainly he's been going tee, so. Some good returns. That's the way to go after the second. So, I mean.
His service came on every ball by 2 inches.
I know.
Like,
That's good. That's good reps. Yeah.
I was a little like, let's go.
There you go. Come on. Right.
Wonderful to eavesdrop. You feel like you're in the team zone with them, being able to hear the conversations, the calmness.
I expect Mike Russell to drop a couple of pearlers there. Like funny, is there a bit of Billy Crystal there, or looks a little bit? I was expecting some humour.
Not quite Friday Night Lights, the speech, that's for sure.
Love.
I think Cameron Norrie is using that forehand a bit like he did in the final tiebreaker against Alex de Minaur the other night, getting that first forehand really deep with loop and keeping his opponent at bay a little bit. And it's not as easy to attack. Well, he's not at the moment. Really lifted his game. Well, good anticipation, but see, that first one was dangerous, wasn't it? He really didn't hit that first volley well enough and way too deep. This is just lost his feel on that, and that was asking for trouble, but gets away with it.
Goes for another one of those down the line forehands. Misses his mark that time, but a good time to try it and just keep sending the message to your opponent that you're not going to be as predictable as you've been in past meetings. And these guys have seen a lot of each other. 13 meetings prior to this one. In the last 3 years, they've played 3 times each. So a couple new wrinkles coming from Cameron Norrie today. And what's nice is we get to hear Fritz tell us about him in real time.
The other thing interesting about that head-to-head is that back-to-back wins have been hard to come by. Only been 3 occasions where they've won it. You've been able to string 2 wins in a row. There's one wins, the other wins. Makes it interesting as well. So there's that history, knowing all about each other. Getting tight once again here. Well, he had the advantage of the net cord, but it was well played by Cameron Norrie, and he squares it up, and we're off to a tie-break in this opening set. Wouldn't have thought that was the case 25 minutes ago.
Well, halfway through that rally, Norrie got back into the rally. He was under the pump there. I thought he was going to lose the point in the first half of it. But the high looping forehand deep halfway through that rally got him back into the, on an even keel. In that point, he did well.
In the 13 encounters, they've had 6 tie-break sets. Fritz leads 4-2.
Fritz with a forehand down the line of his own to open up the tiebreak with a hold of serve.
Team USA.
First ace for Norrie.
What a smart return from Taylor Fritz. It was a sidewinder serve up the middle, and it was tailing away from him. So Fritz just gave it some air. And Norrie trying to serve and volley actually ended up putting himself in an awkward spot. This was a tricky high backhand volley, and that is weight moving away from the shot. That was a tough one, and he couldn't land it. So early mini break for Team USA. I wonder if Fritz saw Norrie covering that shot and tried to do too much with it, because the cross court was definitely wide open. Norrie was covering the line, and Fritz overplayed it.
A 3-2, Team USA.
A little bit of an issue with his quad there. I wonder, Dave, he's been sort of self-massaging with it, with a thumb deep into that quad muscle for a couple of games now.
Keep an eye on that, Fitzy.
4-2, Team USA.
Just get up to and hit it. That's all.
That time he tossed it so far left.
Yeah, yeah. That's the old Norrie.
Well, not on
no, it's different. Here we go. This point.
Fritz, a fountain of information, telling his coach Mike Russell, and Norrie tried to fool him with a fake ball toss, threw it out wide, which would indicate a slice serve, and then blasted it up the tee, but Fritz was there for it. Ended up winning the point with the backhand pass, and he's got the mini break.
A 4-3, Team USA.
Another down the line forehand from Norrie, follows it up with this leaning backhand just inside the line. Well done. Fritz with another referral to his left quad there after that excellent point from Team GB. Misses this cross court, stops and stretches.
Was a little ginger too then as he pulled up. Back on serve here, been a seesawing tie-break, a little like the set itself. Started off so strongly in favour of Taylor Fritz. And again, more work on the quad. Just as he slid and he had the weight on his right leg, he didn't seem that keen to put the left leg down. So, but a close eye on that.
Five all.
Well, brilliant from Taylor Fritz. Is Norrie there and had a shot on it? I think so.
Well, for a guy who seems to be struggling with his left leg, this is getting on your horse and getting after it. What a great run across the court, and this one never left the line. They just tracked down the line the whole way. Norrie had a play on it, thought it was going wide, and now he's up against it. Fritz will serve for the set at 6-5.
Yeah, if he wins this match, that will be embedded in his memory, I'm sure. Efforts like that can change the outcomes.
Well, Fritz finally prevails in the opening set. It looked like it was going to be done in half an hour. 59 minutes. He takes the tie-break in the opening set, 7-6. Well, some good fight from both players.
Great job.
Fritz to
Ridiculous
fight off the
shot.
challenge from Norrie to get back into that
Ridiculous
opening
shot.
set.
Fuck your sprints though.
Oh, come on.
No, I'm dead serious. Like I'm so mad at you. I'm trying to get that tablet. Shut up.
Have him come out and soft tissue.
My idiot coach and trainer made me do like sprints too close to tournaments, and so my quads are insanely tight. And I think I just pushed it a little too hard, like because they're so tight. Sprinting too small. So I don't know if I think I like might have sprained it or just, but like really seized up bad. It's like right on this exact spot. It's so tight. It's fine. It's not too bad. It's so yeah. That's all good. Yeah, but not even there. It's just the local area. It's like right. Yeah, it's like right in there. So bad.
Dr. John Fitzgerald courtside was the first to pick up the issues with Taylor Fritz's quad muscle. He feels like it's seized up a little. Don't think there's any particular
Yeah, holy shit.
Problem other than that, he's not leaping with pain, which is normally the case. Jim, once the physio digs the thumbs in.
Pushing on something that's just like incredibly like tight sore. Yeah, anything you're trying to loose it on.
Okay, I'll take a medical.
They're going to take a medical timeout here and probably give some massage to Fritz.
It was already really like tight and sore. And
I think it's a relief that we didn't hear the word tear. I mean, it seems like it's just incredibly tight. So
he was very specific when he came to the team zone, when he was talking to his coach and his physio, Wolfgang, who's right behind him there in the black cat, that and I quote directly, "My idiot coach and trainers had me do sprints, and that's why I'm sore, too close to the tournament, and that's why I'm sore." It was done with the tongue-in-cheek, and certainly Mike Russell and Wolfgang took it as such. They all had a laugh, but that's what's happening right now. He is overtrained in his mind, too close to the tournament, and he's got some fatigue in that leg and some lactic acid that is rearing its ugly head right now. He's trying to get some relief from it.
You know, Jim, it's always the case, isn't it? In this global game we have, there's very little off-season. You've got to do enough work to stay in shape, thinking about months ahead. So therefore, you do train close to starting times, and that's the dilemma. That's the balance you've got to find.
It's an interesting thing because, as you know, my background's track and field, and you know we would prepare for 3 or 4 months without a competition. You know, it was double. You'd compete in the summer here in Australia, and then you'd go to Europe and you'd compete there. But in between, you would have long periods of time where you just trained, and you could be exhausted, and the high level. It's a little bit different now. Athletes train at a very high level, but you can't get a body of work in and play at this level. It's not possible to do both those things at the same time.
No, it's just about maintenance and trying to maintain that. And in Taylor's mind, they pushed him too hard prior to this tournament, and he's paying the price right now.
He did say it just feels like it's it's an incremental thing with muscle tightness like that. It starts, you feel it a little bit, and it gets tighter and tighter, and it can ease off with a day's rest and a lot of massage, and you have the treatment, a bit of acupuncture, and all of those things can release all of that. But when you're in the heat of battle here, it's one set apiece on a warm day with the sun beating down. It's not an easy situation to be in when it's the first match of the season.
Well, at least it augurs well. If he can win this singles, he won't have to play mixed doubles because they've got a specialised player in the background ready to do that. So Rajiv Ram is here, and so maybe that at least is a positive, but it's getting through this one, isn't it?
And he's not just playing for himself, he's playing for Team USA, so he is very much accountable for this result. They need it, otherwise they are eliminated. Team GB will be advancing to the quarterfinals.
The issue is with the second, like, he's kind of just sliding it now to my backhand, so I can't really attack it too hard. Because if I start stepping, like if I move up on the return position to start taking it early on the backhand, he'll just start going big again into my body. So it's like,
Show him different looks.
I like where I'm standing, and
I'm just saying for that.
Okay.
In general, so you don't get caught too far on the baseline grinding. That's all.
Well, I just need to be a little more aggressive.
Stay for another changeover?
Yeah, please.
So yeah, if you're going to stand back, just give yourself good height.
Pull the backhand line a little more.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
I have to say, though, there's no agitation in the voice of Taylor Swift. He's very calm. He knows that I don't think it's a...
Time.
It's a different voice than Taylor Swift's.
Yeah, that was a little faux pas, Dave.
Sorry. I'm still unhappy they haven't got tickets.
I think that was deliberate.
Yeah.
That was a deliberate faux pas.
You think so?
That was a cry for help.
Yeah.
What that was. But in seriousness, back to the match, Taylor Fritz, that we're focusing on here today, is talking about trying to find ways to shorten the points and avoid having to run as much, going backhand down the line a little bit more. So we'll keep eyes on that, see if he does indeed pull the trigger and try and keep things nice and quick in this encounter with someone who likes to play long points across the net.
I'm still giggling down here.
Yeah.
13 love. 30-15.
Despite the serving woes from Norrie early in the opening set, no double faults. That's his first of the match.
Et 30.
Taylor Fritz is in disbelief that Norrie continues to make forehands down the line because it is a new wrinkle. It's something different from Norrie. Fritz definitely not expecting it and not believing that he can keep doing it, but so far, Norrie has.
Again, Team Great Britain.
So Norrie takes the opening game of the second set. Fritz tries to shake off that quad problem.
So hard for me to take this like out step.
When you're in this situation early in the season, Jim, when you feel something, and you've got to play full on as we look at the set summary. Service percentage improved for Norrie throughout. Certainly the first points won. The rest of it worked his way back into the match. More unforced errors for Fritz.
Yeah, it was a pretty high quality set overall. Apart from that slow start for Norrie, he was pretty good. Fritz had more winners than unforced errors. So too Cam Norrie. So high quality, high intense affair.
You can't go into protection mode though, can you? Really, you've got to. It's a difficult situation to be in if it continues to play on his mind physically.
Yeah. Fritz has asked the physio to come back after the third game, give him one more round of treatment, which you're allowed. But if you're Team GB, the only silver lining of that opening set is sitting down and seeing your opponent need a medical timeout. And you've created some momentum back from that love 3 deficit too early on. That's reasons for hope for Team GB that they can get a sweep of the singles. Still plenty of work ahead, though, if that's going to happen.
Love. At 40-15. game, Team USA.
Doesn't appear to have any issues on the serve, Fritz. That front left quad, front foot when he's serving. So one apiece early in the second set.
Love.
Seems to me that Norrie's come to the net a little bit more than I'm used to seeing him in this match. So again, trying to throw some different looks at an opponent who's seen plenty of the stock standard Cam Norrie over the years.
Love. Game.
Well, impressive service game from Cam Norrie.
You balls, please.
Team GB 2-1 in the second set.
Team Great Britain, lead 2 games to 1.
Physio comes into the team zone to meet Taylor Fritz, give him a little bit more treatment on that left quadricep. This will not be an extended break, though, just the normal 90 seconds.
I'm just going to keep sliding on the ad.
I don't think he knows what specific shots are bothering it, to be honest. I'll do my best to try not to show it. But
I do feel like he's going to start using it. I mean, he's been using it, but I feel like he's going to use it just to open the court.
I'll be on it. Just like that one on my serve, where I serve him wide and have the whole court inside in, and just crush it inside in, and somehow still lose the point. It's like, I don't get it. Like, some of these shots, like I get it. He always leans that way. Regardless of it, there's no way he should be able to do that.
Sometimes he's leaning, and it also depends how off the court you're getting it. And sometimes you hit the shot of it,
drilling, but it's not badly placed though.
No, and he's pretty far back too.
All right.
Thanks, man. You can all use a drop here or there too. Thank you. Well, you know.
Yeah. Well,
come on. Here we go.
Come on, come on.
A little more agitated that time, Taylor Fritz. And, he says he doesn't think that Cam Norrie knows when it's agitating him, and he's going to do his best to try and cover it up.
He's incredibly laconic, though, isn't he? Like, and then he rips the ball out of nowhere.
The service. Love 15.
Well, that's the new balls. He just lost his timing twice.
Love 30.
Brand new balls, they fly more in the sun. First one, he covered it too much into the net. That one, he just lost control.
players have been talking about how springy the balls are when they're brand new, how much more they bounce up, and that bounce seemed to catch Fritz off guard in the last point.
At 15-30.
And the good news department for the players is the same ball that will be used across all the Aussie summer tournaments, so no changes. That's a big source of contention in the playing group, that they have to make so many adjustments to different types of balls, different brands of balls throughout the course of the year.
It's crazy, really, when you think of that. You look at F1 and there's a controlled tyre and there's different versions of it, but you know, the teams know what they're going to get. They can set up accordingly.
Yeah, well, there's one governing body in Formula One, isn't there? And there's 7 governing bodies in tennis, so it's everyone's got their hand out and different pockets. Oh. What a serve that was. I can't even believe that Norrie got that return back. That was a beautiful slice serve short in the court.
40-30.
Look at this thing. It's short. I mean, Norrie cuts it off and somehow extends the rally.
Again, Team USA.
So Fritz holds serve. Squares it up in this second set.
2 games all.
Take some reps.
It's interesting tempo at the moment. We're back on an even keel, and it doesn't have the firepower of some elements of the second set, where one or the other was in control.
Slightly wrong strategy there from Taylor, defending there. I mean, he either had to hit a winner down the line there or go back across court. This just opens him up for an opponent to attack him. Should have gone across court. Easy sitting up here.
You haven't missed a shot yet, Fitz.
Not a chance.
Norrie mentioned after his match against de Minaur that he'd been out before Christmas, has got family in Perth, so he's had a bit of time to acclimatise, which is important given that he lives in Monaco, spent some time trekking in the mountains in the snow during his off-season. A big change of temperature.
Situational strength on the forehand there. Down low 40. Fritz just went full guns blazing, and boy, did he connect. This is an absolute howitzer. Norrie doesn't even react, and it wasn't that far away from him.
Game.
So some good serving from Cameron Norrie. Team GB 3-2.
Try to get him another point. Okay. Okay. That one was unbelievable. You have to slice it, but if he doesn't put the ball there, try to get another point. You keep moving.
Or come in.
Yeah, or come in. If he didn't come in, you can get another point to keep bossing him around.
Yeah.
Very good there.
Okay, just one other thing. Missing this an unbelievable job with that one. Feel that swing thing, catching line. Also brilliant. Yeah. Vertical line. And that's where you get that. Yeah.
So an hour and 23 minutes so far in this men's singles match. Team Great Britain taking the opening encounter with Katie Bolter defeating Jessica Pegula in 3 sets. Fritz rushed out to a 3-love lead in the opening set here. Norrie fought his way back
I can also look at some background changes.
in the tie break, and he's been focusing a lot on the left quad of Taylor Fritz. Haven't seen too much of the coaching box from Cam Norrie, but calmness in there as well as they just analyse the situation. No discussion of the quad, focused on his own game.
Yeah, focused on his game, but I think some of their tactical information was quad specific. I think they talked a lot, or a little bit anyway, about keeping Taylor Fritz moving side to side, which is a good general play against Taylor, even if he is in full health. And that's really important, as we talked earlier in the match, to try and keep him off of the center of the court and moving side to side when he can be less aggressive.
And 15 love. Fifteen-all.
A little window here of opportunity for Team GB.
15-30
with that forehand going awry. Norrie's very deep for this return of serve. And he's going to get a second serve now to go to work on. That's a mistake. That was a great firm second serve, and Norrie was trying to get around it and got himself out of position there.
$40-30. Game. Team
So back on even terms at 3 apiece.
3 games all.
We've seen Cameron Norrie really rip some forehands. His standard forehand is the loopy one, the one in yellow with so much net clearance and depth. But then when he wants to sting you, he revs up the speed, takes the spin off of it. That's the red trajectory, a net skimmer. That's the one that's caught Taylor Fritz out a lot down the line today.
Love 15.
So the timing of using either of those. How often does he use the net skimmer if that's not the usual play?
Yeah, I would think it's somewhere in the 1 out of every 6 at this point. Somewhere in that neighborhood, just enough.
And when he goes across court, it's got more loop on it generally, hasn't it? I mean, that's the ball a left-hander uses to loop across court, get to a right-hander's backhand if they can. And the one down the line takes more risk, but you get more reward for that one if you can make it.
Thirty, 15. Forty, 15. Team
So Norrie serving first here, and you just feel like the pressure is building slightly on Taylor Fritz. So Team Great Britain, 4-3.
Great Britain lead 4 games to 3.
Here, Taylor.
At the moment.
Okay. Because I hit both of those so good.
Yeah.
And like the first one, he like hit a really good return.
Yeah.
I hit like a really good serve.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that serve's an ace if he's not leaning. So, and then the second one was just as good, and he
Yeah. Both times he hardly
had to have.
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
He takes a big step and then.
I'm surprised. I'm like really struggling on the flat wide on the ad right now though, but like every time I serve it, I feel like I'm gonna make it. I'm missing every one, but I think I'm just gonna bring it down a little bit on the effort on that one,
Time.
and maybe they'll go in.
I mean, you got him with some great second bodies too.
Kind of jammed himself.
He did jam himself. He tried to run around it. There we go.
All right, let's go.
Come on, let's go.
Whole break.
Very much enjoying the conversation in the team zone for USA.
So in the ad court, Fritz is feeling like he should be making more of the big serve out wide. He feels like he's hitting it well, but just missing them all. I think he's going to try and maybe go a little lighter on the speed to try and find it. Not exactly sure. Going to do less in his words. We'll see what that means.
love.
On that first point, those misses when you have an opportunity on a second serve really hurt you, don't they? I mean, if Fritz hits a big bomb on the first serve, then too good. But if you get a chance to face a second serve, you've got to make it. You're going to have a chance to break this serve.
40 love.
He won 65% of his second serves for the match, and a lot of those came in the back half of the from Norrie's perspective, a lot of those second serve opportunities came in the back half of the first set. He's been 80% second serve percentage won. Taylor Fritz, as he holds serve comfortably there.
What's the percentage on his first serves, David? Because that's a very impressive number on a second serve.
Yeah, for the set, he's only serving at 52%, Fritz, but he's 73% of serves won, which is pretty similar to the match, 74%.
So in the second set, Fitzy, he's winning more points percentage-wise when he hits a second serve than a first.
Well, that throws my theory out of the window. Thanks for mentioning that. That's hard to believe, though.
Some of that boils down to Norrie missing returns in big moments. Norrie can certainly play better against Fritz's second serve. No question about that.
Sometimes he doesn't prepare well enough, I think. He was just late getting his racket face open there for that volley. So intent in getting forward, I think he didn't prepare early enough.
Fitzy, how tight did you string? You were a great volleyer. How tight did you string your racket? What was your tension?
Pretty loose. It got looser as I got older, Jim.
So Norrie strings his around 40 pounds. You know, that's quite loose. Most players are more in the 50 to 55 pound range in their rackets. How does that impact the volleys?
Well, I think it probably gives you. I think it gives you a little bit more feel to have a looser string job. But early in my career, I had tighter strings. As I got older, I swung a little less, just put the racket face behind the ball more, and just used the strings. But to the defence of the modern player, the strings they use now are more difficult to volley with than the ones I used. Strings they use now are more useful when they hit ground strokes because they spin the ball a lot more. The strings have changed the game considerably, as you know, Jim. And in my day, we used a natural gut in our rackets a lot more, and that had more feel on the volley. So easy to criticise with these modern strings.
Big points here. That's well played from Cameron Norrie on a big point. Still got another break point to defend, but he did well.
He did, and I did like the pass. He kept it low. He didn't try to overplay it. Fritz, he certainly asked the question. Just gets it down low, makes Norrie come up with this. But he's good enough.
Let first service. Advantage, Team USA.
So Taylor Fritz gets the break. Crucial stage in his second set. And he will come back and serve for this match for Team USA.
Team USA lead 5 games to 4.
Made up his mind to go for the flat one down the middle. Unfortunately for him, he misses it, but
well, that's strong work, yeah, from both players.
But a big difference, David, in winning your first point serving for the match here and losing it. And they were really keen to get that first point under their belt. Norrie does well. Gives himself a chance.
Well, he was a little concerned, wasn't he, Fritz, when he selected the drop shot, instantaneously questioning his decision.
15-all.
Yeah, I think it was the lower percentage play. I mean, he's so good from there with his forehand. Why would you take a risk with this? He gets away with it. These are the biggest points of the match. I think he'd go with his strength.
30-15. Well, he's on the verge of
turning around last year's result, where Norrie was the only player to beat Taylor Fritz at the United Cup. It's a much-needed victory for Team USA. Square up the tie. He's got the match points. That was a floater. Dropped in.
40-30.
So Fritz squares the ledger. Impressive two-set victory over Cameron Norrie. So Taylor Fritz for Team USA. 7-6, 6-4. It's one apiece. Well, had a lot going for it, that match. Fritz was so strong at the start. Norrie fought his way back in. It was a intriguing commencement to this second set where no player had the ascendancy, but John Fitzgerald, I think he'll be pleased to get the win, have a bit of a rest. Tomorrow night up against Team Australia. Not sure we'll see him back for the doubles. Don't know that just yet, but a good win.
Yeah, I doubt, Dave, that he'll be back for the mix. He may be, but I doubt it. Particularly with that added issue with the quad, but he'll be happy. I mean, his form was pretty impressive for someone who's playing their first match against Cameron Norrie, who had a match under his belt, and you can see the disappointment there in Norrie at the end. He really wanted to win this, and it gives the USA a chance to stay in this match, give themselves a chance at a mixed doubles.
As you mentioned, they do have a very strong doubles specialist. Interesting also that Jessica Pegula is still in the team zone with the slides on, so maybe they have already made that decision. At got a bit of time, of course. So there's Pegula. Doesn't necessarily look like she's firing up for a mixed doubles encounter. Looks can deceive, of course. And we're just about ready to go down courtside where Jim's scurried down. So let's go down now and join Jim Courier with Taylor Fritz.
Taylor, congratulations. This was a must-win for Team USA, the defending champions here of the United Cup. How'd you get it done out there? It didn't look easy.
Yeah, it was a really tough match, obviously. I've played Cam and I have played each other so many times, and it's always a battle. It's always close. I got pretty lucky at the end of the first set tiebreaker. Hit some shots that probably would miss more than I make, but in the second set, kind of just hung in there with my serve. My serve definitely kept me in it, and then I was able to steal a break.
Tell us about the medical timeout you had after the first set. You came in, you had a word with your coach, your trainer. Seemed like maybe something went awry before the tournament. Maybe give us a little detail on what you were dealing with.
Yeah, well, I don't really sprint that often. You know, I do other types of cardio, so they made me sprint a little bit.
What kind of sprints are we talking about? 100 meters, 400 meters, 20 meters? What are we talking about?
I don't know different distances, but I don't sprint that much, so I got really sore, really tight, and I carried it all the way into today, and I think I overdid it just running for one of the drop shots, and maybe just tightened up, strained something, but we got through it.
Yeah, you sprinted through the tape, and now Team USA is alive into the mixed doubles. Who's the USA team going to be? Are you involved? Is Rajiv Ram playing? What do we have for Team USA?
It's looking like it's going to be me and Jess today. I'm feeling ready to go, and I want it.
You want it? All right, well, get to it. Get back in the locker room and get ready to go. Team USA, Team GB mixed doubles coming up just around the corner. Well done, Taylor Fritz.
Yeah, interesting. He just wants to keep going. They also want to defend their title, so it's a crucial doubles encounter. With just the 3 teams in the group, it's wins are crucial.
Oh, they are.
There is a second runner-up, but it's a lottery, really.
No, it's crucial, David, but a good sign too that the leg is not as bad as we had feared. I mean, I was fearing that he might have had a small tear there in the quad, but it seems it is just stiffness. It's tight, but no damage really done, and he'll get over that if that's all it is. So good news for him, and if he wants to come out, if he wants it, as he said, good for him. They wanted to try to defend this title.
And obviously a lot less movement on the doubles court than the severe stopping and starting sprinting that's required. Did like his comment, I'm not much of a sprinter, but I think the training staff might revise what they give him, that's for sure. He's no enthusiast. He's the same height as Usain Bolt, but that's where the comparison ends.
Oh dear. Well, you know, tight match. He deserved to win in the end, but he was very modest, I thought, too. And he did make comment about that shot at 5-all on the tiebreaker in the first set, if our viewers can remember that. He struggled to get wide and bunted the ball down the line, and it landed in, and that was the difference, really. Match was close, really was. Could have gone the other way easily. I mean, his serving is obviously a big winner in those stats. I mean, 14 aces, and he has his fair share of unreturnables too. So that's his strength. He uses it.
So Team USA square the encounter here. It's 1 apiece, and we've got the mixed doubles to come.